Well, hello there. Welcome back to the Pacific War Channel, where we cover the history of the entire Asia-Pacific War of 1937 to 1945, and all the major events that led up to it. This time, I'm going to be doing a game review with my buddy Toupaloops on AAA's Axis and Allies The Pacific War. Now, if you want to get your hands on AAA and play Axis and Allies The Pacific War, or over 50 other different Axis and Allies maps, you can go to aaa-game.org, where it can be downloaded for free.
It's free real estate.
AAA boasts maps for almost every war you can think of, like the Punic Wars, Napoleonic Wars, World War I, World War II, and even fantasy maps like Game of Thrones or Lord of the Rings.
Give them a moment, for pity's sake!
Axis and Allies is traditionally a tabletop board game, but AAA allows you to play on PC from the comfort of your own home, which can be particularly useful during these dark COVID-19 days. Axis and Allies, The Pacific War, allows you to play 5 nations in a 4 versus 1 game for domination over the Pacific Theater. With AAA, you can set a computer AI to play with you if you have no friends.
I am watching this because I've got no friends!
Or the game can be played locally, split screen, or online with other players. For the Pacific War map, there are 5 nations. The nations are as follows. First, we have the Empire of Japan. Who will be facing off against these 4 nations? China.
I like China. I sell apartment for I just sold an apartment for $15 million to somebody from China.
Great Britain.
Tactics is so inept. Nearly takes the honor out of victory. Nearly.
Anzac.
Leave our hearts or fade away. Live forever. They were far too young to die in such a way. How many wasted lives?
And America.
Somebody criticized me the other day because they asked me what I do, and I said, I'm going to bomb the shit out of them.
The map does include the Soviet Union, France, and the Dutch, but they are not playable and literally are just open territory for grabs.
There are only 2 things I can't stand in this world. People who are intolerant of other people's cultures, and the Dutch.
What?
The purpose of the game, like all Axis and Allies games, is to take your enemy's territory using an assortment of units that you can purchase each turn. You win by capturing your enemy's capitals and stopping them from building any further until you have domination of the map. Each round allows each nation to have a turn, and the turns go in this order. First, we have politics, where you can decide, given the situation, if you want to go to war with a certain nation or not. At the beginning of the game, only Japan and China are at war. Everyone else starts off neutral. Each nation can build and move freely without going into the enemy's territory, until either side declares war. Choosing when to declare war as Japan or the Western nations is up to what strategy you're doing. There is an advantage and disadvantage to being at war for each nation. Perhaps you want to build up before you attack someone, but just remember, they can do the same back. By round 5, you will be forced to go to war. Next we have production, where given what territories you control allocates a certain amount of money to you that you can use to build an assortment of units to rain hell upon your enemies. Certain territories are worth more than others, and depending what nation you are, there are special bonuses for capturing specific territories. Next we have combat, where you place your units onto other territories to fight other units. The game is a board game, so each unit fights with a dice. All units take 1 hit to die, except for carriers and battleships, which take 2, and each unit rolls a die to perform an attack or defense. All units can move a certain amount of territories, and each has a unique attack and/or defense roll. For example, infantry roll 1 or less to attack, and 2 or less to defend, while a tank would roll 3 or less to attack or defend. Then we have non-combat. Any units you do not move already can move over friendly territory. Since this game is almost 80% ocean, this will involve buying a lot of transport naval units to move units across the ocean, and this occurs during non-combat. You have to be careful though, leaving transports vulnerable will always end in tragedy, as the enemy can make swift work killing your transports and you will lose all the units aboard them.
Sehen Sie Sicherungsfahrzeuge? Bestellung?
Nein. Noch keine Fehler. Keine Außensicherung. Nichts.
And at last we have placement, where you can place units you purchased at the beginning of your turn on territories that have factories. Factories can be purchased also and placed on territories that are worth 3 or more money units. The amount of units you can place on a factoried territory is the same number of units it's worth in money. Each nation has a unique set of objectives that increases its money per turn to make the game even more complicated, but certainly more interesting. What sets this game apart from other maps is its use of the political turn. While one would think it's a good idea to go to war immediately, there are major advantages and disadvantages to being at war depending on who you are playing. For example, a huge one is that America gets an enormous boost of money per turn when it is at war with Japan, but can only declare war after round 3. It is usually up to Britain or Anzac to declare war on Japan, which allows America to be in the war also. However, this means that Britain and Anzac can be attacked by the much stronger Japan. So for America, being cucked for a while tends to occur.
So maybe they'll respect me.
That just makes you a beta cuck.
And now I'm gonna hand it off to my friend Toupaloops to get his views on this game.
Thanks, Craig. So when it comes to tabletop games, I'll be honest with you, I'm just...
Not good. Believe me, not good.
Especially Risk. So when I discovered that Axis and Allies is pretty much Risk on Giga Chad steroids, I was a little intimidated. Also, AAA is a bit of a misnomer. This UI is as appealing to look at as a bowl of day-old porridge. Thankfully, the thorough help menu put me at ease. Not to mention Historian Craig's very helpful tutorial.
Hey everyone!
As has already been touched upon, there's a huge variety of historical wars to choose from. Or if you're in a fantasy mood, you've got Star Wars, Game of Thrones, and even Middle-earth for those of you that want to play as a...
retarded wizard in the forest.
Wait a second.
You remind me of the babe with the power.
Surprisingly, I didn't get my ass pounded by the AI, which I could have outsmarted while half overdosed on Xanax. Make sure to crank up that difficulty to 11. Back to you, Craig.
Thanks, Toupaloops, for your input. Now, if you want to grab AAA, again, go to AAA-game.org, where you can also find a wide variety of maps to play. If you want a more in-depth tutorial on how to play Axis and Allies, or you would like to see tutorials on other maps, why don't you check out any of these previous videos I shamelessly am plugging now on the screen. Everything can be found here at the Pacific War Channel. Thanks for watching, leave a like and hit that subscribe button, and please go check out Toupaloops' game review channel and do the same for him. This has been the Pacific War Channel, over and out.